So abundantly embodied presence. What is it? And how does this relate to it? We're going to get to that in a minute. So that is my well of abundance. And it's this embodiment practice which I'm really just starting to grow into. Like, I've not been working with that anywhere near as long as you would think, given the amount of coins in it. So I started that jar about 18 months ago, and I just started putting pounds in and a few coppers every now and again, sometimes the odd note. And it's just a way of me saving bits of random money which would otherwise just get put in a wardrobe or just in random pockets like around my house, and I wouldn't really do anything with it. But why don't I just save it? Eventually I can take it all to the bank when I fill up the jar, then I can cash it in and, hopefully have a bit of money. It was more of a practical piece of saving rather than it being like an abundance practice. But over the past few months, as I've really been getting back into that kind of work again, I've been like, wait a minute, I've got this jar here. I've got this massive jar, and it was like halfway full when I began this. So I'm looking at it thinking, it's already halfway full. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I'm like, why don't I just really put some intentionality into being with this as a practice and see if I can get it all the way to the top? Well, I know I will get it all the way to the top. It's like, how soon can I get it all the way to the top? Finding the beauty in the process as well, obviously not forcing it, not straining, but just really being more present with it, treating it as an embodiment practice. So that's like the first level of presence, actually bringing that level of belief of, hey, this is more than just a jar of coins. This is a well of fortune. This is a well of belief. It's a well of gratitude. So why don't I start treating it like that? That's the first level of the embodiment practice. The second level was, what intentionality, what greater intentionality do we now bring to it? So I've got an app, it's called Finch, and it's a self-care app, and on it I've got all my daily self-care practices and I've got all my spiritual practices. So I put in a prayer journey, prayer of gratitude. So what I've decided to do, and I've got the coins over there, I've not got them with me right now, I took out £30 from my bank account. I've taken out £30. I'm going to do this every month. So give or take a day or two, I've got £1 for every day. I've got it set up on my altar. I've got my coin jar as well of gratitude. I've got it on one side. I've got it on my left-hand side, and I've got my smaller jar, my small little pot of coins. And every day I take one of those coins and I really sit with it. I hold it in both hands. I close my eyes. I get into a prayer expression. And I say, I'm so, so grateful for all of the abundance that I have in my life right now. I'm so, so grateful for everything that I'm receiving right now. I'm so, so grateful for all the abundance in all of the expressions that are entering into my life right now. And it's kind of a prayer like that. I won't go on and do the whole thing, but it's that kind of affirmation style prayer. And what I found is by doing that, and this has been the next progression of the practice, this is what's prompted this video. I've been putting these coins in for the past 10 days and I've been somewhat present with it. But then the next part of that witnessing process, which got me into the next depth and the next level of being with this practice as an embodiment, is, right, I've been in sacred recreation somewhat. Now let me really be in the sacred. Let me really sit and slow and be with this prayer. Let me really speak to the spirit of abundance. Let me speak to the light of abundance. Not in a way of trying to pull more, not in a way of trying to cheat code the universe. It's actually been a genuine sitting with what I'm actually grateful for, because I've got a lot to be grateful for, and I've not been present with it. Nowhere near as much as I should be, right? I've got a lot going for me, but there's a part of me which is still living in that future of what I want to happen, what I want to bring in. And there's nothing wrong with having those intentions and casting your net out and having foresight creating dreams, living dreams, having desires. But it's when those dreams and desires are pulling us more out of the present than they are anchoring us into the present of our inspired action and choices that it really kind of becomes an issue. And that's where I've been at for the past little bit. I've not really been with myself. I've not been finding that beauty in the process. And because of that, I've been a little bit sketchy, I've been a little bit torn inside, I've been a little bit dysregulated, I've had the nervous system flare-ups. I've not really been in my full joy with any of my creative processes. So this, even though it looks, kind of like what it is, it's a jar of coins. Even though it looks like a basic manifestation practice, like I'm going to put coins in this jar and the universe is going to give me what I want. It's like, no, it's not that. It's actually really being with the beauty of life. It's so much more than the money. It's about the belief, and it's about becoming the great believer in my own abundance. That was the sacred archetype that really dropped in for me. As I was sat there just a moment ago before I got on this video with the coin, I'm like, I am the great believer in myself. I'm the great believer in everything. I'm the great believer in all that I have. And it ties into this archetype of the victim that I've been really working with for a while. No one who is in victimhood can truly ever know abundance. No one who's in victimhood is really embodied in the gratitude for what they're experiencing and receiving right now. And the greatest abundance, which I was really affirming in that prayer, it wasn't any sense of material possession. It was actually the experience of life. It's the experience of living. I was downstairs before and the radio was on, an Oasis song came on. Do you know what I mean? I think it was. That's like a genuine, it is the song. Do you know what I mean? And that line comes on, you don't even know you're born. I'm like, yeah, damn. I don't even know I'm born. What am I doing? What am I doing right now? I don't even know I'm born. And that's where the seed of that prayer came from. And it was really unconscious. It was just planted within me. It was this knowing of, oh, there's something not quite right there. It was a synchronicity that I took as more of a prompt and an invitation rather than this oppressive, contracting, false light synchronicity of, oh no, my world's gonna fall apart. That's how the victim would have interpreted that synchronicity. But instead, the greater part of me, the great believer within, just kind of stored it in the cellular memory. And then when I came upstairs and got with the medicine and sat down in front of my altar, it all came out and that synchronicity clicked into place. I'm like, oh yeah, I do know I'm born. I'm the great believer. I am the great believer in myself. And this is me affirming that. Just with this £1 coin. And let me be clear, I know £30 might seem a lot. For some people, there's a lot of you out there going £1 a day, £30 a month, I cannot afford that. You can do it with whatever object you find. Whatever object can represent abundance to you, use that. It can be anything. If you've got a big crystal collection, it can be that. It can even be a penny, right? Let's bring it right down to the most basic of basic levels. You could get 100 pennies and you could get 100 pennies and you could put one in every day. Could you spare 30p a month to do this? It's not about the money. The money's just the conduit. The money's just what we place the intention on. It can be anything, right? It's about being the great believer in yourself. That peace that you hold, that's the container for the prayer. What's your container for your prayer? How do you pray abundance? How do you witness abundance? How do you speak to the energy? What does it mean to you? How do you live with it? How do you be it? How do you improve the quality of your relation with it? How do you come into right relation with your expression of abundance? How do you become abundantly embodied in your presence? I'll see you in the next one.